Hi, this is Linda with Craft on Cue, and I'm here making another Coptic stitch journal. And while I was working on this one, I realized there were a few things that I left out on my previous video that I just want to touch on real quick. This is going to be a real quick and simple video, and I may or may not put the finished results at the end. I probably will do just some still pictures because this is in progress right now, but a couple things that came to mind, and so I want to make sure that if you're making one of these and using these supplies, that I clarify a few things. So on this, where you put your signatures to put the holes in before stitching, I remembered what this is called. It's called a cradle, which makes sense, cradle. But one important thing is this little bar here on the end, and that enables you to take your signatures. These are all in order, so but you can butt that up there so that everything is nice and straight when you're, maybe this will be a better example. This is my template, and you just put those in, and then that butts it up nice and straight so everything is in order and remains intact for your stitching. Otherwise your pages, there would be pages that could possibly be crooked, and that would not be good. Another thing I wanted to mention is I used to be a quilter and haven't quilted in a while, but quilting, that glare's horrible. Quilting rulers are really, really helpful when you're measuring for the covers, especially because you can mark them off with a pencil prior to cutting them out. And these are nice and straight, so if you have a nice straight line on your Davy board or whatever board you're using, then it works perfectly, as you can see here on this example. But if you don't have a straight line, then you can use this ruler to give you a straight line. For example, if you were doing something and using a cereal box, and you just cut that out cattywampus when you were putting it aside, then you just square it up with this and it would work really nice. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick is the ruler that I use when I actually cut out the Davy board. I use this heavy duty Stanley Fat Max cutter. I believe I got this at Walmart, maybe $5 or $6. I don't remember. Again, I've been doing these books for a really long time, probably 10 years or so, and I bought this at that particular time. There's another cutter that I use, and I love this. It's a Olfa Silver, and it has these little snap-off blades. So as they dull, you just pop them off. And I've had this really long time. I probably bought it similar time frame that I got this one, and I'm still on the first round. So I don't know about refills. And I know I bought this online, but I do like this, and I use this for the paper that I'm cutting. It works really, really nice. I've also been known to use a rotary cutter on occasion, but typically I'll use this if I'm not using a guillotine type cutter for it. So I wanted to mention that. And what I like about this ruler, it's an Alvin 18-inch. I believe I bought it from Hollanders online. It has this rubber base, which helps it to be non-slip, and that's really important. And then it has this lip here has the ruler part. I really don't even use the ruler part, but that's generally the side that I will use to cut along. But it has this guide here, so when you put this down on your board to cut, you've marked your line, then you put your hand here and hold it down nice and tight, and then when you go along here with your trimmer, you have less chance of this coming back and cutting yourself severely. So I want to say this was in a section that talked about students, but I think it's great for anybody, student or not. So again, this has been used a lot over the years, and I'm glad I kept these little tags on so you could see. I have no idea what I paid for it. It has a little ring here that you can hang it up to store it, and it really doesn't take up a lot of space. I have it in the corner of my craft closet. That way it's nice and handy. So, and then the last thing I want to mention is on this particular book, I have the signatures all together in the order that I want them, and all the holes punched. And in order to keep these in order, when I was cutting the binding, or not the binding, the covers, and before I bind them, I always use one of these clippy things. You get these at the home centers. Again, I bought these a while back. And I generally will put some scrap paper so that it doesn't leave the indents from these. I don't know if you can see that, but they're little markers things, and I don't want those on the paper. So I'll just put a little paper there to hold it. But this way, when I'm working on everything else and before I start to bind, I know this is the order. I know this is the top, and I don't accidentally drop them on the floor, and then I don't know what order I had them in. So that's just a little helpful tip. These are super cheap, and a lot of times you might even have these, your hubbies might have these in the garage because I think that's the purpose, is little clamps for wood and things, but they're great for your crafting supplies too. So as far as bookbinding goes, I think that is it. I can't think of anything else at this point that I wanted to share, but those all came to mind while I was doing this. And typically I don't share things that I buy, but I was so excited about this the other day that, look at this stamp. Is this just the cutest? All these dragonflies, butterflies, there's some bees, and then the little flight paths. And I got this Saturday. We went, my hubby and myself and our two of our grandchildren were out and about and stopped at this shop. It's secondhand kinds of things, but then there's a lot of booths in there, and so they're all individually run, and it's right next to our post office. So we ran in, and our grandson saw these rubber stamps, and they had quite a few. This was the only one I bought, but it ended up to be $4. It's from Inkadinkadoo. It doesn't have a date. I don't know how long. But anyway, I thought this would be really fun for my journal. So I've never seen this before, and I love it. So that's it for today. And I'm going to get back to working on this journal and getting it done. And that's it. So thanks so much. Have a great day. And if I don't do a video before Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas and safe travels. God bless.